What's up, everybody? So, I'm still traveling. I'm a few hours from making it back. There's a long story about how we traveled this certain road for a reason and had to do with transit lines, stuff like that. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. So people have reached out to me, okay? And I want you guys to understand something. This organization is not going to operate on some kind of fringe, hey, we got this little scheme that we can I can do something to benefit myself. If you're thinking like that, you can just stay right where you are. Okay, that's not what this is for. It's not what this is about. I'm not going to say that there won't be variances for a property not where you live later when that opens up. But right now, that's not what this is about. Okay? The land that you're putting into the trust is the anchor point for the other members of your community assembly to be able to return territory law and common law back to your community. Okay? That's why the property must be owned in common, possessed, but held within a trust. The trust puts it in North America. It's possessed by the owner, the person who's to reap the benefits of the land. It's their land, okay? And the other people who do not own land outright can come together as a community through that individual's willingness to allow them to congregate. And as far as the public or the government's concerned, that property is held or owned in common through the holding company. Does that make sense? The reason that you have to do it this way is because there's actually no land, no property in North America. Okay? All the property, all the land that was in North America has been moved to the states. They're held by state title. Does that make sense? So they are foreign to North America. By doing it this way, you're moving the land back into North America under a congregation with proper jurisdiction. That doesn't mean go sell the land. Or I can keep it here and I'm going to sell it. If you sell the land, you collapse the trust until there are multiple properties in the trust to take up that loss. You are planting the seed. I hope this makes sense. That's why I'm specific about you have to reside in the county from where that land is. Why do you have to reside in the county? Why can we do this? Because the Aboriginal titles that are coming from the tribe are held at a county level, which means they are superior to the state level title. Okay? There are no titles for real estate at a county level. The states hold the titles in their trust. So by putting an Aboriginal title in, you are superseding the state title. Remember that thing about county home rule? Home rule? Remember home rule? This is a home rule thing. Okay, only it's an actual real home rule thing. So, this is how you get the opportunity to bring the community into a different jurisdiction outside of the commissioners, outside of the school boards. Now, essentially, what happens? How does this grow? Okay? Once you get enough presence in that trust, you now become a political a North American tribal political action outside the state. Okay? Once you get enough there, now you can put a special, you can have a special session, or you can invoke a, you can do petitions. We're actually setting up a system where you are, you'll actually be able to do petitions, and we will have your stuff vetted, where those petitions, literally, like, you'll be asked a question for your community, and like, those petitions can be docu-signed. Like, we're setting up that system. That's part of the dashboard that's going to come in. Okay, we already have a plan for that. All right? A lot of work has gone into this to get to this moment. Okay? Secondly, when you get council in 70% of the counties in your state, you can then initiate a convention of counties to convene and override your state corporate constitutions and fix them. Okay? Or limit them and regulate them. Does that make sense? Once you get the majority of counties in a state, that state is now active at convention. Once at territory, state territory is now active at that convention. Once you get 70% of the states in the United States, you can now have a state territorial a convention of state territories, which is the convention of states that's actually in the Constitution, that the states of whatever and the legislatures cannot do. They don't have that authority. They don't have that jurisdiction. That's why they've never done it. Okay? I hope this explains. God bless. Godspeed.
What I find endlessly amusing is how severely President Trump, on his phone again, triggers the citizens of Woke-tardia. That's a new name for them. Those are the people many would like to say, "I told you so." But the truth is that the more they hate the guy, the more we love him. Posted by WH Grandpa Channel on Telegram.
President Trump has ordered the Department of War to begin preparing for military action in Nigeria against the radical Islamic jihadists that have been slaughtering the Christian population. If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. Posted by @CaptainKylePatriots.
President Trump is playing strip poker with Chuck Schumer in front of the Statue of Liberty. Guess who's losing? Chuck, only his shorts on. Still your move, Chuck.
It is time for us to stop calling Islam a religion. It is not a religion. You can ask any Muslim. You can ask any jihadi. They will tell you it is a civilization. It is a civilization that governs every aspect of your life. And most importantly for us in the U.S., it is a civilization that is duty-bound, according to the Quran, to install Sharia law worldwide.
Or perhaps we're looking at a really good Christmas. Because from what I'm told, from my sources, is that this is going to be done by the end of the year. Not the spring, like April, like India says. That may be when India decides to roll out their version of it. But my sources, that are very close to the U.S. Treasury, and I'm not going to say any more than that, but I'm just going to tell you my sources, something around the U.S. Treasury. My sources are telling me that this is the end of the year, this year. And when we're talking about what is the end of the year, Phil, we're talking about global currency to be completely revaluated, paving the way for the rollout of NESARA.
Read that again. Trump's envoy, Mark Sawaya, informed senior Iraqi political officials that the U.S. administration will select the President of the Republic, the Prime Minister, the Speaker of Parliament, the Ministers of Interior Defense, Finance and Oil, in addition to the Governor of the Central Bank in the upcoming government. Posted from One News on X.
We've talked about this many times, and it's worth repeating. With or without an NDA, you should act like you have one. We hope everyone takes precautions to protect themselves and their families. Some will sadly fall into the lottery mentality and lose everything within a few short years. Don't let that be you. Be wise. Protect your family, your resources, and your legacy. And a word of caution, whether or not an NDA is involved, anyone openly talking about what they've received or expect to receive is making a mistake. The moment you share financial details outside of trusted fund managers, auditors, or legal advisors, you create unnecessary risk. Don't spoil your own blessing by broadcasting it. Move wisely, stay humble, and protect what God has placed in your hands. Posted by A2Z DREAMZ.
This is what we were awaiting and what Trump told them to make sure that they did and got up and running immediately. But this has been in motion for a while too. It takes time even for Vietnam, which is so much further along in the monetary and banking world that probably all of the other countries in the RV. This is great news. Adam Stevens, A to Z Dreams contributor, 11/2/2025.
Breaking. President Trump says Nicolas Maduro's days are numbered and claims the U.S. military already has a secret plan ready to act. Forwarded from the general on Telegram.
I am writing from Vietnam, and I am also Vietnamese. Last week, the Prime Minister of Vietnam has forced and put an order to establish and operate the International Financial Center in November 2025. This will become the 120th International Financial Center in the world. He also stated Vietnam government has worked with many governments, experts of stock, crypto, wealth managing, to form the new policies, laws for investment. This may be an old news, but the rush and pressure he put into government department within November is very crucial. Maybe this is the go of Vietnam that many people are talking about. Forwarded from TYSON.
Let me put the pieces together for you here. My source told me in September that Vietnam had had enough and was ready to go it alone without Iraq. Iraq would be forced to follow within seconds to save face. Jen told you, completely independently, that Vietnam was wanting to revalue last week and force the issue. Trump then sent the B-team diplomats to Iraq, who were stalling, supposedly to get the Iranian influence out of their parliament. This means Trump pivoted to Vietnam after Iraq dropped the ball. Trump met in the clear with the president of Vietnam last Wednesday, Thursday. According to SKYE, he signed off on all papers related to the RV. That means Vietnam is now free to go their own way. Today, CIA Tony says Iraq has been given the ball back so they can score the touchdown and take credit for the RV. Taken back from whom? Vietnam. If Iraq doesn't go today or tomorrow, Vietnam will. That's what this means. Have a great Sunday. Go Hawks. Posted by Mike BARA.
Gentel Short, 11/2/25. Remember last week when I told you that we await an announcement in the Middle East? I think that may come on Tuesday. My Gentel, over time, said that Vietnam was going to push this by going first. They have been threatening to do that and then decided to hold off after the meeting with Trump. The gold in the catacombs was opened. Their rate will be higher now. TNT Tony said today that the ball has been handed back to Iraq.
I believe that is true. Last week I told you, in so many words, that the ball was passing back and forth between Vietnam and Iraq to pull the trigger. We would have to watch to see how it rolls out. TNT confirmed that this morning with his intel, so thank you to him for that. Now, I think we should be getting an announcement or some kind of big event on Tuesday. I will talk more about it on the show tonight. That is all for now. Carry on. Jen.
Swisher 1776 on X, posted 6:02 p.m., November 3rd, 2025. Alert, Money Bent's IQDRV. Secretary of War issues final warning to Iraq. Iraq's Defense Minister Thabit al-Abbasi has revealed shocking details of a call with U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, who reportedly warned Baghdad of an impending military operation in the Middle East. Al-Abbasi said the U.S. issued a final warning that Iraqi armed groups, including Iran-backed factions, must not respond. The statement follows growing regional tension as Washington and Tel Aviv reportedly plan new coordinated strikes. Meanwhile, Iraq's Foreign Minister Fuad Hussein urged Kurdish separatists to disarm under a new deal with Turkey as the region braces for possible escalation.
Hey guys, how are you? It is Monday morning, 3rd of November, about 20 past 8 in the morning. So I just got an update regarding medbed centres. Medbed centres right around the world are now staffed. They have staff in them. The staff are working. They are sitting by the phone waiting for that green light from their superiors, which will come from Trump. Now, the medbed centres at the moment are only on a very skeleton crew, meaning they have very limited staff. Same with the animal healing centres. The chambers, very limited staff. You get in, you get your treatment, and you get out. No tours, no hanging around. There'll be very few people, very few patients in at the centres, and that is for safety and security. So you're having something like 5, maybe 10 patients at one time. So you get in and you get out, okay? No hanging around for hours. You go in, straight away you go have your scan, straight away you go and have your scan appointment, and then you go straight down to the medbed centre. You might wait maybe 10 to 15 minutes, if that. Go straight in, have your procedure. You come out, you straight away, once you're able to, you pick out 3 sets of clothes and all of that. You get changed, you have something to eat. You go then get any new IDs that you need, and then you leave. Okay, so what was quite a lengthy procedure that could take 8 hours is now down to about 2.5 to 3 hours. Okay, so they don't want people hanging around, they want people in and out. So I was just told that the centre nearest me has 2 med beds, will have no more than 5 patients in the centre at a time, has 1 doctor, 2 medbed operators, and a nurse. That's it. Literally, that's it. So it's staffed by like 5 people, okay? The animal healing chamber centres, you take your pet there, your animal there, you wait for them to have their treatment, and then you take them straight home, okay? They will do your pets all at once. There's no leaving them overnight. There's no going off shopping. You stay, you wait for your pet. The moment they're finished, you take them home. Okay. I think that's about it. If you have large animals and you can't transport them, or you don't have transport, or they're difficult to transport, they will organise the transport for you. And same with people. If you don't have access to transport, or for physical reasons you can't get there under your own steam and you don't have someone else to take you there, then they will organise pickup for you. Okay, but medbed centres are fully staffed in expectation for that green light to be given sometime today. Okay, So there is the update. So, when you go to the MedBed Center or the Animal Healing Center, you can, if you're the patient, you can only take one person with you. Okay, so if it's your husband that's the patient, only the wife can go, not the wife plus a friend plus some kids. No, only one person can accompany the patient to the MedBed Center. And I believe, unless it's a large animal, I believe only one person can take the animal to the Animal Healing Center. This is for security purposes as well. So if you have a child that needs urgent care at the MedBed Center, only one parent can go, not both. Okay? So just one person can escort the patient and one person to take any pets. Alrighty? Unless you have large animals or difficult animals, then you can take two because there'll be help on the other end as well. Alrighty, so there's the update, and MedBeds are fully operational, fully staffed, sitting around waiting for that green light, and they have been told that they will get that green light and will be treating patients today. Okay, and that is Humanitarians. Alrighty, so good luck everyone, and let's hope this time it actually happens. But yeah, that is the update for today. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.
The SKYE. They only come after you when you speak the truth. Charlie Kirk was killed because he spoke the truth and started to wake the people up. Now they're going after Tucker Carlson for speaking the same truth right where Charlie left off. Rep. Randy Fine calls Tucker Carlson the most dangerous anti-Semite in America, warning that a dark force is rising, slandering him, calling Carlson the leader of a modern-day Hitler Youth. Fine says Tucker has no place inside the MAGA movement because of his criticism of Israel. MAGA means Make America Great Again, not a foreign country, so how is Tucker not MAGA? Josh Hammer mentioned public execution, and Charlie was publicly executed the next day. Josh Hammer says that Tucker Carlson needs to be neutralized. Social media is one of the most powerful weapons in today's world. Tucker and Candace are both threats with the type of reach they have. Pay attention. If you put any other country before America, you are not America first, which means you have interests above, over, and before America and its citizens. Americans know that we are being lied to and played. We know that our government is filled with traitors and foreign entities that do not have American interests. There is more than one enemy, and do not confuse the good people with corrupt governments and terrorist groups. Listen to Charlie's own words in this video. He started to speak against them. The motive is clear as day, not to mention turning down a $150 million bribe. TPUSA is acting more like a foreign intelligence operation disguised and hiding in plain sight, especially with geofencing civilians at events and just all the shadiness and secrecy surrounding it, and not to mention the owner being assassinated. Ladies and gentlemen, something is very wrong, and you better wake up to it. The writing is on the wall. Forwarded from Tyron Nia, Telegram.
EBS activation. Everything is set to go. Each citizen will receive texts, emails to push notifications, a one-time secure code, instructions for wallet activation, confirmation of debt wipe status, and access to the Sovereign Fund dashboard. I, Nisara Gassara QFS, will be walking everyone through the process when the alerts begin. I've tested the system. It works, and the interface is beyond anything we've used before. We are just days away from the global financial reset we've all been preparing for. Posted by Nisara USA Gassara on Telegram.
On Saturday, November 1st, 2025, although it will not be made public, the Quantum Financial System, QFS, will officially transition into full operational control. Right now, global banking structures were sinking to the asset-backed framework and dismantling the final remnants of the fiat system. On Monday, November 3rd, 2025, although it will not be made public, a 48-hour global communication blackout will begin for massive GCR/GESARA fund redistribution into individual digital wallets on the QFS.
On Friday, November 7th, 2025, 10 days of darkness will begin through the secure Starlink satellite system. All traditional media will go offline. 24/7 documentaries will be broadcast globally via the military's emergency broadcast system, detailing the takedown of the cabal, the fall of the fiat USD, and the rise of sovereign freedom for 209 GESARA-compliant nations. On Wednesday, November 12, 2025, the first wave of wealth redistribution will go live as millions receive their initial funds, empowering communities and triggering local economic recovery projects worldwide. On Saturday, November 15, 2025, medbeds will begin activation in phases. Clinics will prioritize children with long-term illnesses, the critically ill, and veterans in alignment with QFS-mandated biometric verification protocols. And on Tuesday, November 18, 2025, healing centers equipped with medbeds will open in strategic regions. Training sessions for medbed specialists will begin as part of the global shift to restorative quantum health technologies championed by President Trump since 2016. On Friday, November 21, 2025, global medbed demonstrations will be streamed via Starlink broadcasts, revealing their capabilities in reversing aging, curing chronic disease, and restoring full body function, a total revolution in healthcare. On Saturday, November 22, 2025, the emergency broadcast system, medbed activation, and disclosure will fuse into one global experience called the Light Event. On Monday, November 24, 2025, the International Medbed Access Program will be launched, ensuring fair access across all continents. No individual will be denied healing based on wealth or geography. Every citizen will have the right to restoration. On Thursday, November 27, 2025, President Trump will host a monumental Thanksgiving address marking the rebirth of the Free Republic under GESARA law. Global QFS announcements and unveiling of new sovereign infrastructures will accompany the celebration, symbolizing the dawn of a new era for humanity. On Thursday, January 1, 2026, and as verified by Scott Bessent, the U.S. will integrate gold-backed reserves into a new U.S. note, ending America's reliance on fiat currency.
Who you're becoming matters more than who you've been. The past was a lesson, not your identity. Too many souls are trapped in old patterns, repeating stories that no longer serves them. But your future is calling too. Each day is a divine invitation to evolve. Posted by @TheNeighbors 2021.
When you stop trying to fit into a world that is no longer yours, you begin to make incredible progress. You automatically become a new person with lowered shoulders, more laughter, and even more magic. Posted by @TheNeighbors 2021.
If you see something beautiful in someone, tell them. It only takes seconds to say it, but the other person will remember it for a lifetime.
A spiritual awakening isn't a moment, it's a process. It's 1,000 small realizations, 1,000,000 tiny shifts, and an endless journey of unlearning and healing and becoming. You don't wake up all at once. You rise, little by little, into the person you were always meant to be.
Guys, please pray for Carpathia's husband, as he had a terrible accident, as he forgot to put the parking brakes on his truck, and the truck rolled and hit him, and the wheels went on top of his legs. She does not know the seriousness of his injury, as Carpathia has rushed to the hospital right now. Please pray for Charlie, as he is pushing his 80s and is still working to put bread on the table. We don't need another one of our members to pass away, especially Carpathia's husband, as she is such a sweet and kind person. Me and my wife have already said our prayers, and we would like to hear that the injuries were not so severe. We need a miracle, everyone. God bless. Wolverine.
Blessing of inner knowing. May your intuition speak clearly and your courage listen well. What you seek has always been within you, waiting to be remembered.
angels sing.